Chapter 8. The Convoy. The remaining headlights stayed behind them through the flood lane. Calder drove without complaint, which Lena found suspicious. A normal person would have raised his voice by now. Calder only watched the mirrors, took Ortega's directions, and kept the borrowed SUV moving through rain-slick service roads as if Austin had been built for this exact failure. In the cargo well behind the third row, the transport case knocked once against its strap. Lena turned at the sound. NEP-001 and NEP-000 were still there. For now.
Seatbelts,
Calder said.
Yeah, I heard the first time,
Matt said, and buckled because resentment still worked better with a belt on. The click sounded louder than the rain. Ezra sat in the third row beside his bag, one hand gripping the overhead handle, the other holding his dark neural band against his temple.
Your device is still online?
Lena asked.
Local only. I cut the network when Veritas tried to wipe my access,
Ezra said.
You say that like it is a normal sentence.
Normal stopped taking my calls.
Same,
Lena said. Matt looked between them, then decided the neural band conversation had no safe place for him and gripped the seat back instead. The SUV jolted around a corner. Headlights swung after them, closer now. Lena caught Ezra's hand tightening on the neural band and saw him let go before it looked like fear. Ortega checked the side mirror.
One vehicle behind, two trying to reacquire from the west.
they are forcing us toward the freeway.
Calder said.
Then we do not take the freeway.
Every surface road here floods.
That is why they will hesitate.
Ortega said.
You skipped the morale unit, didn't you?
Matt asked. Water slapped the undercarriage hard enough to make the floor jump under Lena's shoes. The cabin speakers hissed. At first, Lena thought it was rain static bleeding through an old radio channel. Then the sound thinned into a trembling tone beneath the engine. Matt heard it too. His jokes stopped. He pulled the pocket spectrum meter from the outer pouch of his audio bag and thumbed it on. The green display woke in his palm.
Matt?
Lena said.
I know.
Matt thumbed the meter anyway.
Bad time. Very bad time. The car is humming at 29 hertz, and the case is answering at 58.
Answering?
Lena asked.
Not asking.
Ezra said from the third row, quiet enough that Lena nearly missed it.
Answering. Created things are made to give back what is put into them. Paul told the Athenians that in him we live and move and have our being. The case is not on Voss's side. It is doing what Bone has always done. The question is what the men in Austin put into it.
Matt looked at Ezra and then back at the meter.
Harmonic response. The foam case is vibrating, or something inside it is. I brought the meter because the East Wing freezers were screaming at 60 hertz, and apparently that counts as field preparation now.
Can you record it?
Lena asked. Matt held up the glowing display.
Already am.
Lena looked back at the transport case again. 2 skulls in a cargo well. A genetic result that should not exist. A firmware phrase in Ezra's device. A 12-year-old girl moving toward Peru because, Calder claimed, she followed resonance like a voice. Lena did not believe in voices from bone. She believed in measurable vibration. Worse.
The firmware pattern has a similar structure. You have seen the structure?
Lena asked.
A partial. Malik pulled it before he was locked out. It is not just text. It is weighted like a stimulus.
Meaning?
Lena asked.
Meaning someone put "We Are the Nephilim" into a cognitive pattern library where it could influence neural interface suggestions.
Ezra said.
The kind you receive when a device thinks your brain needs help.
No.
Ezra said.
Worse. Nephilim does not mean giants. It means fallen ones. Not fallen from height, fallen from alignment, from balance. The old texts were not measuring how tall anyone stood. They were describing a kind of disproportion. Power without the wisdom to wield it. capability that answered to no one. Knowledge in hands that would account to nothing is a curse, not a gift.
Calder cut across an underpass service lane. Water rose around the tires, brown and broken by streetlight. The SUV fishtailed, recovered, and climbed toward a warehouse district where the roads narrowed. The headlights behind them slowed. Ortega took an old black phone from inside her jacket. Not a smartphone, a heavy, battered device with a cracked corner and physical keys worn shiny by use. Ezra noticed it at once.
That is not standard issue.
No.
For your custodial watch?
Ezra asked.
For people older than that label.
Ortega,
Ezra said.
They are already in it.
She pressed 3 keys, waited for a tone, and spoke low and fast.
3 hostile vehicles, 2 artifacts, 4 civilians, 1 miner targeted. Coordinates incoming.
Lena understood every word. Iris. The line clicked with a burst of static. Ortega listened.
No escalation. Block only. We need 5 minutes and a clean route south.
She ended the call and put the phone away.
Custodes.
Ortega said, eyes still on the mirror.
Same people Ezra met. Old debts, local cells, favors that expire fast. Enough for a roadblock, not a war.
Can they stop the cars?
For 5 minutes.
Ortega slid the old phone back under her jacket, exactly where a badge would have been if she had carried one. 2 low sedans appeared at the next intersection, headlights dark until the last second. Matt made a strangled sound.
Those plates are very official.
Look forward.
I am trying to look everywhere.
The sedans moved with brutal calm. One slid between the SUV and the nearest pursuer. The other angled across the cross street, forcing the second hostile vehicle to brake hard or hit broadside. The hostile SUV chose the curb. Metal screamed against concrete. Calder did not slow.
Those men in the sedans, are they going to be arrested?
Matt asked.
Possibly.
Ortega said.
Killed?
Matt asked.
Not if the other drivers are sensible.
No one tonight has been sensible,
Matt said.
Then pray for competence.
Was that a recommendation or an order?
Matt asked.
Whichever works faster.
Ortega said. Ezra looked like he had an answer ready and decided the chase did not deserve it. The SUV shot through the gap the sedans had made. For the first time since leaving the loading dock, no headlights followed. Calder pulled under a rusted awning beside an abandoned cold storage facility and killed the headlights. Rain hammered the roof. Ortega checked the tablet.
2 minutes.
Then use nouns,
Lena said.
not theory.
Calder turned in his seat.
A safe site outside Lima. 1 aide compromised. They tried a false pediatric transfer. Iris broke the first handoff and vanished again at a fuel stop outside Pisco.
A 12-year-old did that?
A 12-year-old who knew the exits because I taught her to fear every door.
Calder took a narrow key from his pocket and put it in Lena's hand.
Cargo frame, case lock, manifest. If my people argue, use them.
Then we are not agreed.
Lena said.
We are aligned until the next fact changes.
The skull case is humming under the engine noise,
Matt said.
for anyone collecting terrible details.
Calder started the SUV again. Ortega checked the mirrors, then the old phone. A single message flashed across its small screen. Route clear. 3 minutes. She closed it. Calder glanced at the message again.
Paracas.
Not because you said so.
No. Because 1 points back there. 0's archive marker points back there. Iris is moving that way. And Voss wants the site before anyone else reaches it.
When you say it like that, the travel brochure suffers,
Matt said.
Let's move.
Ortega said. The SUV rolled out from beneath the awning and into the rain. No one in it trusted everyone, and no one could leave. Behind them, Austin disappeared, one wet street at a time. Ahead, somewhere beyond false documents, private airstrips, coastal desert, and old graves, a 12-year-old girl was following a signal into Peru. Lena kept one hand on the strap securing the skulls until the warehouse lights vanished behind them. Chapter 9. The Cargo Plane. The cargo plane rattled, as if every bolt remembered a harder landing. Lena sat on a narrow jump seat with her knees braced against a crate of boxed surgical masks. The straps across her chest bit hard enough to leave marks. Cargo netting swayed overhead. Somewhere behind her, the two transport cases holding NEP-001 and NEP-000 were locked into a medical frame and cinched down with orange webbing. Matt had wedged himself between a duffel and a pallet of portable monitors, one hand on his field recorder and the other on the armrest, as if either could keep the plane in the air. Ortega sat across from him, loose and still, a pistol under her jacket and the old phone face down on her thigh. Ezra had borrowed a tablet from Calder and spread 3 printed sheets across his lap. The former seminarian, who now reviewed Veritas ethics, read with the grim patience of a man looking for sin in fine print. Calder stood near the cockpit bulkhead, speaking to the pilot. Iris's father, the man whose money had built every door they were now running through. He kept his face turned away from Iris's photograph, because one more glance would make him useless. Julian Calder Vance had built companies by believing speed could be made moral if enough smart people signed the forms. Move before disease moved. Cut delay. Remove friction. Fund the room where the impossible answer might arrive 1 year earlier. He had called that mercy. Then Iris had put both hands over her ears in a grocery store and asked him why the walls were angry. And he had taken her to the people with sensors instead of carrying her outside and letting the question remain unanswered. Now his daughter was somewhere ahead of him in the dark, and every mile south felt paid for with a sentence he had approved. Across the hold, Ezra bowed his head.
Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on the child,
he said, low enough to belong to prayer and loud enough to refuse shame.
Have mercy on the men who thought mercy meant control.
Lena heard the name over the engine noise and looked at him. Ezra did not apologize for it. Good, Lena thought, before she could stop herself. She had no patience left for men who tucked conviction away until it could be made respectable. Ezra looked embarrassed by his exhausted suit, his damaged implant, and the fact that he knew too much and too little at once. He did not look embarrassed by the prayer. He caught her watching.
Wrong aircraft for subtle theology?
Ezra asked.
Wrong aircraft,
Lena said.
The theology was fine.
For the first time since the lab, his mouth tried and failed to smile. It was gone quickly. So was hers. Lena had made 3 custody entries before takeoff and hated all of them. Removed under threat. Original jurisdiction unresolved. No destructive analysis authorized. Current custodianship emergency only and witnessed by 4 named adults. The last line looked ridiculous inside a plane running from armed men. She wrote it anyway. Calder's counsel had given her 1 Peruvian cultural patrimony contact before the signal died. A name was not permission. It was only 1 correct door they had not reached yet. The plane dropped. Matt made a sound he clearly meant to keep private.
Still useful?
Lena asked.
Not emotionally,
Matt said. He clipped a contact microphone to the metal frame around the skull cases.
Technically, maybe.
What are you measuring?
Whether the cases start singing again. I loaded this for a sound job tonight. It is what I have.
Keep the volume down.
On the recorder or on me?
Both.
The engines thrummed through the floor. 2 pitches beat against each other, slow and nauseating, until the aircraft seemed to breathe. Calder's tablet chimed. Every adult in the hold looked at it because no device on the plane should have known how to ask for attention. Ortega rose halfway from her seat.
Do not answer.
Calder turned the screen toward her. The incoming channel had no name, only an old Veritas clinical seal and one line of text. We do not answer to the afraid. The call opened before Calder touched it. Voss's face appeared in a narrow video window, badly lit and too calm. Behind him, somewhere out of frame, a child sobbed in short, exhausted bursts.
Julian, Voss said. Dr. Ariston. Mr. Kane.
Lena did not greet him.
Whose child is that?
A patient whose file has spent 6 hours waiting for approval from frightened adults.
She is not a proof.
No, Voss said. She is a clock.
Ortega took the tablet from Calder, killed the call, removed the battery, and wrapped both pieces in a foil emergency blanket from the medical crate. She wedged the bundle under her boot.
He can track that?
Matt asked.
He already tried.
The child's last cry seemed to remain in the hold after the screen went dark. Lena wrote one more custody line because rage needed somewhere to go. No child is a clock. Then she wrote 3 field rules below it. Old spaces amplify what enters. Interfaces can act before refusal becomes speech. A living no breaks the cleanest path. Ezra added a 4th in pencil. Created things hold marks. They do not commit sins. Under it, smaller. Romans 8. The creature itself shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption. Lena read the line, then added 1 sentence in the margin. The wounded house has a voice. The voice is not the wound. Matt read upside down.
That is science adjacent and terrifying.
It is a field rule, not a thesis.
Lena said.
Nobody treats a response as permission. Nobody lets an interface answer first, and nobody asks Iris to complete a circuit.
Calder looked at the 3rd line as if it had accused him by name.
Iris is not a Nephilim,
Lena said.
She is a child caught where an old pattern survived, and Voss wants to make that useful.
Calder looked down.
Useful is how I lost the word daughter.
Before we land, use nouns.
Lena said. Calder turned from the cockpit.
Which nouns?
Veritas, Aegis, Shepherd, Iris's route, all of it.
He looked at the dead tablet under Ortega's boot.
5 days until launch,
Calder said.
Maybe 6 if Council stalls. Veritas built the rooms. Aegis is the retail product that ships next Monday. Shepherd is the church packet that goes out the Sunday before. If Voss still owns the story by then, every consent form after that arrives already translated for him, on a store shelf and from a pulpit.
The number changed the hold. Matt looked from Calder to Ortega.
Veritas is the building. Aegis is the store. Shepherd is the church.
Clean enough?
Ortega said.
And Custodes?
Door watchers.
Ortega said.
Not Vatican police. Not a church office. Older than Rome. Abrahamic before it was Christian anywhere. Some cells are Catholic, some are not Christian at all. We keep doors from becoming altars.
That is still a lot,
Matt said.
It is enough for tonight.
Lena kept her eyes on Calder.
Skull 1 came from Tessa's Paracas survey. Skull 0 was hidden in Austin. Your system knew my sample ID before I released it.
Someone side-mounted your lab sequence into a Veritas anomaly scanner,
Calder said.
NEP-001, Paracas. My first warning was my own compromised system telling on itself.
And Iris?
2 compromised staff moved her under a false pediatric transfer through Houston, Mexico City, then Lima. Voss's receiver never got her inside the black van. After that, the route changed under pressure. Sedan, cargo hop, fuel stop, service van.
Ortega lifted the old phone. A grainy image showed a small figure in a hooded sweatshirt beside a service door. One hand on the wall, head turned as if listening to something no one else could hear. One shoelace was bright white against the gray floor. The other was missing.
Lima Airport maintenance camera at 2112.
Ortega said.
Cargo transfer at 2206. Fuel depot outside Pisco just before midnight. Service van toward Paracas at 1:40.
Matt looked at the image.
So she broke the hand off in Lima, got dragged through the next leg anyway, then broke loose again in Pisco and kept going toward the scary place on purpose.
She escaped into a route already built around her.
Calder said.
Then she followed whatever was calling from inside it.
Lena would not let him hide in the route.
Did you build it around her?
Calder's hand tightened on the ceiling strap.
I funded the maps. Acoustic anomalies, folklore clusters, burial deviations, children who heard things near old sites.
He swallowed.
Yes. I built the room where Voss learned what to look for. I did not hand Iris to him. I did something I will answer for longer. I built the man the map he used to find her, and told myself I was protecting her.
The aircraft shuddered. No one blamed turbulence for the silence.
Say that when she can hear you,
Lena said. Calder looked at Iris's photograph and did not look away.
I will.
Why this plane?
Matt asked.
Because my normal plane is watched.
Calder said.
By Veritas?
And Voss's people. Anyone else can wait until we land.
The contact mic gave a soft pop through Matt's headphones. He straightened.
Case frame picked up a standing tone.
From the engines?
Lena asked.
Mostly, but not only. The engine beat is wide and messy. This is narrow.
Frequency?
Low. The ratio is the weird part.
Same family as Tessa's textile notes,
Lena said.
Close enough to keep moving, not clean enough to trust.
The pilot called something through the cockpit door. Calder listened, answered, then came back with one hand braced against the wall.
Descent in 20 minutes. Coastal strip first, then trucks.
Lena said.
One clean answer before the wheels touch. Tessa, did she know you funded her survey?
Not at first. When she found the money trail, she tried to separate the Ariston repository from us.
From Veritas.
From me.
Because she knew you were dangerous.
Because she knew I could get things done, and that men like me begin to mistake access for virtue.
Ezra looked up from the page.
She was not wrong.
Lena heard her father in it. The line he had left her, like a key she kept losing and finding. The problem was never what we could discover. It was whether we were wise enough to deserve it. Lena looked past Calder to the cases, Skull 1 and Skull 0. The first sent by Tessa, the second hidden badly enough that every later claim bent around it.
Iris comes first,
Lena said.
The remains come second. Then a record that can stand in court.
Calder looked away first.
Understood.
Say it into the recorder.
Matt lifted the recorder from his lap. Calder gave his legal name and the ugly facts in one take. When he finished, Lena wrote the file number down without making the plane any more lawful than it was.
For what it is worth, that tracked,
Matt said. Ezra did not add a footnote or a warning. He only met Lena's eyes across the rattling hold and let the ugly record stay ugly. The plane came down through cloud into moonlit desert. At first, Lena saw only black glass where the Pacific caught the sky. Then the coast appeared as a pale line, dunes and rock folding inland from the water. The runway below was hard-packed dirt marked by 2 weak lamps and a truck with its headlights aimed at the wind. The wheels struck. The plane bounced once, hard. Matt's recorder swung from its strap and hit him in the chest.
Still here,
Matt said. The aircraft slowed in a long shudder. The ramp lowered and desert winds swept into the hold carrying salt, dust, diesel, and something dry enough to feel ancient in the throat. Lena stepped onto Peruvian ground under a sky crowded with stars. The desert opened in every direction. Stone, salt, sand, and black ocean breathing somewhere beyond the dark. Ezra came down the ramp after her and held out one of the printed pages before the wind could take it.
Your chain note,
He said. She took it and saw he had kept his thumb over the corner where rain had begun to eat the ink.
Thank you.
Lena said.
You are welcome.
Too formal, too small. Still, it warmed a narrow place in her chest that had not expected warmth to survive the flight. 2 off-road trucks waited beyond the plane's wash, engines idling, headlights cutting pale cones through the dust. Ortega moved first. She circled wide, studying tires, plates, faces, hands. The nearer driver stepped out and lifted both hands. A woman, mid-50s, wind-cut face, no visible weapon. She said something in Spanish too fast for Lena to follow. The second driver stayed behind the wheel.
Out.
Ortega said. He hesitated until Ortega's pistol appeared without drama. When he climbed down, she found a small black tracker inside his jacket and crushed it under her boot.
Veritas?
Lena asked.
Could be anyone who buys from the same catalog,
Ortega said. The woman struck the man once, hard enough to end the argument, then sent him walking into the dark.
Now we have one guide,
Ortega said.
I like that part.
Matt said.
Load the cases,
They stay where I can see them.
Lena said.
then ride with them.
They drove under a sky that looked carved from obsidian. The driver did not give her name. She took the lead truck with Ortega and Calder. Lena rode in the second beside the skull cases, with Ezra opposite her and Matt wedged near the rear door between his duffel and 2 fuel cans. The road became tracks in sand, then stone, then a pale scar across ridges falling toward the unseen sea. Wind pushed grit through the window seals. Each jolt made the cases knock softly against their restraints. Matt kept the recorder running.
Still getting the signal?
Lena asked.
Intermittently. It fades when we turn inland. Comes back when the ocean side opens up.
That could be wind across the case hardware.
Yes, Doctor. That is why I am still measuring.
The Paracas Necropolis appeared first as a depression in the land, then as a jagged cut braced by old beams and modern warning tape. The driver killed the headlights before the trucks reached it. In the sudden dark, the wind seemed louder. Lena climbed down and felt the ground shift under her boots. Not loose exactly, but layered. Sand over stone, over chambers, over the dead. For one breath, Lena saw the place without the chase laid over it. A cemetery. A violation already repeated too many times. Calder opened a case and handed out compact lamps.
Wrong burial for the mother site.
Lena said.
Peripheral necropolis. We check it because Iris came through here. How do you know?
Ortega held up the phone again. The image was worse than the airport still. A girl in the same sweatshirt beside an older man whose face was turned away. Iris was not pulling back. She was leaning forward, toward the dark beyond the road.
Timestamp puts her 20 minutes north of here,
Ortega said.
Who is the man?
Lena asked.
Unknown.
Ortega moved toward the entrance. They descended. Inside, the air changed. It became measurable in the body before it became measurable by instrument. Cooler against the skin, denser in the lungs, quieter around the edges of sound. Their lamps cut through ochre dust and found old walls, broken wrappings, niches where the dead had once been arranged by people who believed nothing human vanished casually. Elongated skulls rested in several alcoves, their shapes the result of cranial binding, Ritual, status, beauty, grief. Human practices. Human hands. Lena held on to that. Then her light found the empty place. An alcove had been cleaned too neatly. No scatter of fabric, no collapse pattern, no ordinary looter's mess. A thin rectangle of darker dust marked where a storage plaque had once been fixed to stone.
This is not NEP-000.
Lena said.
No.
Calder said. Ortega's lamp moved across the floor.
Tracks.
In the dust near the back wall were two sets of footprints. One adult, one smaller, narrow, the stride uneven but determined. In one print, a loose lace had dragged a thin comma through the dust. Iris.
How long ago?
Calder asked.
Recent. An hour. Maybe less.
Lena said. His voice broke.
She was here.
For the first time since Austin, Lena heard a father before she heard a billionaire.
Lena?
Ezra said. He stood near the back wall, lamp raised. On the stone, scratched through old mineral crust and newer dust, was a spiral split by a vertical line. The cut marks were fresh.
I have seen that,
Lena said.
Tessa copied it in the packet.
Ezra said.
Do you know what it means, or are we guessing?
The old survey glosses it as return to origin. Field note, not clean translation.
But it points.
Lena said.
Toward the mother burial.
Ezra said. Calder stepped close enough for his lamp to catch the symbol. His face emptied.
The cliffs. What is actually there?
Lena asked.
An older chamber outside the public necropolis.
And Voss?
Calder did not answer at once. Answer enough.
If Iris is with an adult, why stop here first?
Lena asked.
To confirm the route,
Calder said.
Or to make us confirm it for him.
Ezra said. Lena looked back at the symbol. A fresh mark in an old tomb. A child-sized footprint beside an adult's. A signal almost repeated in bone, code, cloth, and now stone.
How much time?
Lena asked.
If the camera stamps are right, minutes before they reach the cliff road.
Ortega said.
Less if they cut through the ravine.
And if the stamps are wrong?
Then we are late.
Calder turned toward the passage.
Iris is not running anymore.
No.
Lena said. She lifted her lamp from the symbol to the exit, where wind moved dust across the threshold like breath.
She is following.
And somewhere beyond the necropolis, under the cliffs above the Pacific, something old enough to be mistaken for a grave was waiting for her. Chapter 10. The Cliff Door. Half a kilometer ahead, and 90 minutes earlier, Iris had stopped at the lip of the cliff because her body would not take another step until she counted things. The service van had gotten her to Paracas, and then a different man had opened the back doors at a fuel turnout off the coastal road and looked at her the way the airport adults had looked at her, like she was a problem already being solved. He had used Voss's name once into a phone. After that, there were no more vans, only him and the copper-pronged tool and the path down through dust toward the cliffs. She had walked because running on open ground at night is how children stop walking forever. 3 rocks at her feet, 2 scuffs on her right shoe, 1 sock. The missing one was the left, lost on the climb down to the cliffs, the way the left shoelace had gone days before. The wind off the sea that wanted to push her sideways, and the second wind, the older one under it, that wanted to pull her down. She did not look at the man with the copper-pronged tool. She had learned at the airport that adults who wanted to take you got bigger inside your head when you looked at them, and smaller when you counted exits past their shoulder. There were 2 exits. The path back to the trucks where she could be put in another van. The path down the broken stone where the cliff did the deciding for everyone. Neither one was hers, so she made a third. She bent and scraped a small spiral with a vertical line through it into the wet dust, the way she had seen it copied in one of the Paracas survey pages her father had left on the kitchen table months ago, when he still thought she was too young to read upside down. She did not know what it meant. She only knew careful people looked twice at marks that were almost hidden. She covered half of it with her shoe print, so it would not look obvious to the man behind her. Then she made herself afraid in a way she could control, picked the path the man wanted, and let him walk her down toward the basin. She was 12. She was tired. She had thrown one cracker crumb into the wind 2 miles back because she wanted something that belonged to her to land somewhere her father could not afford to buy. Her mark waited in the dust. Half an hour earlier, before the cliff, Ortega had asked Calder to stop.
Why?
Calder said.
Because the road forks ahead and one fork is faster.
And?
And someone who knows which one is here.
The SUV pulled off at a low, whitewashed mission chapel set back from the road, paint peeling, hand-lettered sign in 2 languages above the door. Iglesia del Buen Pastor, Good Shepherd. No one said the English word aloud. No cars, no service, just the door propped open by a stone. The sign underneath in Spanish named the pastor without naming a denomination, the way small Custodes-tied chapels along this coast did, where local prayer drifted Catholic, but the order itself answered older lines. Inside, the air was cool and smelled of dust and old wax. A woman was sweeping between the pews. She straightened when the team came in, and the small bronze medallion at her collar caught the light. A raised hand inside a circle. Ortega's own thumb went to her chest before her eyes did. The woman saw it.
You are her,
she said.
I am her.
For a count of 2 breaths, neither of them moved. Then a voice came from the back of the chapel, cheerful as if entering a different conversation.
Beloved, if these had held their peace, the stones would have cried out. And I think the stones are tired today. Therefore,
mi amor.
Yes.
Soldiers.
Ah.
The man emerged from behind the rough altar with a Bible in one hand and a tin cup in the other. White hair, deep brown skin, the kind of face that did not stay solemn, even at funerals. He set the cup down on a pew, smiled at the team as if he had been expecting them since Tuesday, and said,
Forgive me, I had only just gotten started.
You will get to finish,
the woman said.
Later.
St. Paul also had this problem.
He did not.
He did. The Corinthians, twice.
Later, Rafael.
Don Rafael bowed once to her, with no irony, and turned the bow into a nod for Ortega.
We have a child to find.
Ortega did not ask how he knew. The woman set her broom against the wall.
I am Marisol,
she said.
He is my husband. Yes, he is always like that. Yes, we are coming with you.
Only to the cliff,
Ortega said.
Only to the cliff.
Marisol agreed.
Then to wherever after the cliff. You will not find the basin from the public path.
I would prefer it if you stayed.
And I would prefer if my husband stopped preaching at oranges in the kitchen. We do not always get what we prefer.
Don Rafael lifted both hands as if accused.
The orange was listening.
Outside, Rafael.
He went outside. Before they reached the prince, Ortega checked the old phone once more. A single line had answered her in the dark, in a hand Lena had not heard from in weeks. If water takes lower root, take open shelf. Tell her, I still hate borrowed semicolons.
Tessa,
Lena said.
Moving,
Ortega said.
Safer word.
Lena stared at the punctuation before she let herself stare at the meaning. Tessa was still alive. Tessa was still close enough to send root notes. That was either a comfort or a warning. Lena did not yet know which. She put the line away for later and turned back to the cliff. The first print was Iris's. Lena saw it before Calder did, pressed into dust where the wind could not smooth it away. The narrow heel, the slight inward turn, the small scrape where fear had shortened her step. Beside it lay a man's stride, fresh. The cliffs of Paracas stood black against the sea. Headlights cut across sand, rust-colored stone, and the drop beyond. Far below, the Pacific struck rock with a force Lena felt through her boots before she heard it. Below the chamber line, one split black pillar leaned out from the cliff like a broken tooth. It stood where the lower path vanished toward the sea, ugly enough to remember, and high enough to find again in bad light. Calder dropped to one knee.
How long?
Calder asked. Ortega crouched without touching the marks.
Not long. The wind would have softened them.
She is close,
Calder said.
So is whoever's with her,
Ortega said.
Or behind her,
Lena said. Calder looked toward the cliff path. For once, he did not argue with the worst possibility. He only stood, and that made him more frightening. Matt climbed out of the truck with his recorder bag tied against his chest.
The sea is making the cliff hum. I would like that noted before we enter anything ancient and narrow.
The cliff is doing what cliffs do.
Ezra said quietly, more to himself than to Matt.
If these should hold their peace, the stones would immediately cry out. The cliff is not telling us anything new. The cliff is what stone does when it is allowed to be stone. What we listen for is what uses it.
Noted.
Ortega said.
Ropes first, theories later.
Marisol pointed past her shoulder to a salt-white seam in the cliff face that the headlights had missed.
South, not the obvious one.
She was already pulling a harness from a pack she had carried out of the chapel without anyone seeing her lift it.
Don and I come down with you.
I would prefer that you stayed,
Ortega said.
I know.
Don Rafael was already threading webbing through his own harness with the unhurried competence of someone who had done it many times and remembered the order of buckles by hand.
I have done worse cliffs,
he said. Ezra came up beside Lena with Tessa's copied survey pages folded into his jacket. He did not say resonance. Lena appreciated that. Ortega made them stop at the cliff anchor long enough to assign order. The shape of the place mattered now. 3 levels above the surf. The trucks sat on the high cliff above the public necropolis. The first rope dropped to a stone ledge halfway down where an old chamber mouth opened in the cliff face. From that ledge, the path forked, a lower route through sea caves at the waterline, and the broken cliff path that wound east toward a rope bridge over a deeper chasm. Iris had been driven below the chamber and toward the sea caves. The chasm and the bridge would not matter until later. The chamber would.
Find Iris. Confirm whether this is the origin site. Leave before Voss's people reach the lower path. No heroics on the rope.
The skull cases stayed in the second truck, foam strapped against the wheel well. Marisol assigned 2 villagers to watch them with the tarp lashed down and the lights off. The cases were not coming down the rope. The rope was for finding Iris. Matt looked over the edge and stopped talking.
Clip in,
Ortega said. She tapped Tessa's copied survey with one gloved finger.
4 spaces if the survey is honest,
Ortega said.
Cliff door, burial chamber, lower route, archive. If we find a 5th, it is either a trap or someone else's mistake.
Matt clipped in. Ortega went first, then Calder. Marisol after Calder, calm as a woman who had walked this cliff in worse light. Lena followed, with the cliff vibrating under her palm. Halfway down, a foothold crumbled. Her knee struck stone, the rope snapped tight, and for one blank second she hung between wind and water.
Lena?
Ezra called.
Do not come down on top of me,
Lena said. She found the notch, forced her weight back into the rock, and made the ledge with one glove torn and her ribs aching. Matt came down pale and silent until his bag swung out and panic locked his joints.
Lee,
Ortega said from below. That reached him.
I hate this,
Matt said.
good. Hate it one step lower.
Ortega said. He did. Ezra came down after him, checked Lena's torn glove with cold fingers, and pressed the seam flat so it would not catch on stone.
There,
Ezra said.
Thank you.
Lena said. He let go of her glove and stepped back without making the moment more than it was. Dawn and Marisol stepped onto the ledge, Marisol checking her husband's harness and then her own, Dawn dusting limestone off his palms and looking pleased to have arrived without giving a sermon. Then Ortega's lamp found the chamber mouth ahead, and the world remembered why they had come. The entrance opened in the cliff like a wound that had learned to hide. Behind them lay the public necropolis. Below them waited sea fissures and whatever lower route Iris had been driven toward. This chamber was not the end of the path. It was the hinge between the graves above and the water below. A faint mineral glow gathered inside the stone. Ortega's thumb found the medallion under her shirt and pressed once.
Not yet,
Calder said.
Not to you,
Ortega said.
Fungus can glow,
Matt said.
The first survey recorded mineral fluorescence,
Calder said.
That is not fungus.
Matt said.
Weapons low.
Ortega said.
No sudden movement unless I call it.
If Iris is inside, no one fires blind,
Calder said.
Or near her.
Lena said. He looked at her, then nodded.
or near her.
Only then did Ortega enter. The passage sloped inward, narrow enough that shoulders brushed stone. Mineral seams glimmered and went dull when their lamps crossed them. Matt lifted his recorder, then lowered it, as if the machine might overhear them.
Same family as the skull cases,
he said.
Cleaner. The cliff is doing the thing. The skulls were repeating it.
Don, behind Marisol, spoke quietly.
Stone makes its own sound. The sound is not the speaker. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. That is the 19th Psalm. The day does not invent the speech. The day carries it. The same is true of stone.
Briefer next time, mi amor.
Marisol said.
Or we are frightened and finding patterns.
Lena said.
Also possible,
Matt said.
Keep both labels.
Lena said. Ahead, Ortega raised a fist. At the base of the wall, Iris had left a second print. Beside it was a mark scratched into dust with a small finger. A spiral crossed by a straight line. Ezra unfolded Tessa's copied notes.
This cluster appears in her survey pages,
He said.
She thought it mapped relationships between chambers.
Iris changed it.
Matt said. Lena leaned closer. The pressure marks were uneven, child deep over ancient, shallow lines.
She marked the old route.
Lena said. Ortega studied the mark, then the wall above it.
No, she warned us the obvious route is wrong.
She angled her lamp away from the child-scratched spiral and found a salt-white seam higher in the wall, almost invisible unless the light came from the side. Tessa's survey had missed it because the old photograph had flattened the shadow.
There,
Ortega said. Matt lifted the recorder, listened for one careful second, and pointed to the seam without touching stone.
Dry air behind it. Not much, but enough.
For once, Iris had not opened the room. She had left them a warning and kept moving. This one was on the adults. Calder's face tightened.
She is leaving a trail.
More than a trail.
Lena said.
She is arguing with one.
The passage opened into a domed chamber carved from limestone and older, darker rock. Skulls lined the walls in niches, wrapped in ancient cloth. Some elongated by human hands into high vaults, others broken by time, all turned toward the center. Shell beads had gone gray. Copper stains had bled green into the wrappings. Salt stiffened everything. At the center rested a sarcophagus too large for the chamber and too old for the name anyone had given it. Its lid had been shifted aside recently.
Origin witness?
Lena asked.
Yes.
Calder said.
NEP-000 pointed here. It did not come from here.
Lena said.
Correct.
Calder said.
And NEP-001 was the sequenced specimen with the clearer chain of custody.
Lena said.
This site tells us why the skull was hidden, not what we are allowed to take.
Correct.
Calder said.
Good, because if one more person uses old bone as a permission slip, I may become difficult.
Matt looked up.
May?
Lena ignored him and took photographs before lowering the camera.
No sample has been removed?
Lena asked.
Not by my people.
Calder said.
That answer has a hole in it.
Lena said.
The first survey sealed it. Later teams came close and backed away. Tessa argued the context mattered more than possession.
Names.
Lena said. Calder gave them. Lena wrote them on an evidence sleeve before she let herself look at the skull again. Ezra stood on the far side of the sarcophagus, looking at the carvings rather than the bones. Tall figures, smaller figures, lines like rivers, lines like ladders, spirals broken by vertical marks.
Genesis says they were on the earth in those days.
He said. Matt shut his eyes.
And also afterward.
Ezra said. The words sounded small against the chamber.
The Nephilim.
Lena said.
The line everyone argues over because it refuses to behave.
Ezra said.
Later giants, remembered giants, or people carrying a name that became larger than bodies.
You are hedging,
Calder said.
I am refusing to pretend the Bible is thinner than it is. The watchers who transgressed are not wandering loose in Scripture. They are bound. But knowledge can survive the one who first misused it. So can an appetite.
What appetite?
Calder asked.
To make humanity greater without asking whether greatness can be holy.
Ezra said. The mineral seams along the walls dulled. Every shadow deepened at once.
The room answers what was put into it,
Dawn said, low.
When the morning stars sang together, Job 38, the stars sang, the stars were not the song. The room here has been taught a different word than its first one. The first one is still under.
Rafael.
Yes.
From below came a child's hand, pale and quick against stone. Calder stepped forward.
Iris.
The figure froze at the lower tunnel. Lena saw a sliver of face, the long curve of skull under a hood, eyes reflecting too much of the mineral glow. Iris looked at them long enough to warn them. She put one finger to her lips. Then she vanished below the chamber lip. Calder moved before thought caught him.
No,
Lena said. He stopped with one boot at the lower step, every part of him angled after his daughter.
She warned us.
Lena said.
That was not fear. That was instruction.
His jaw worked once. Then he stepped back. Ortega found the lower passage with her lamp. Wet air came from it, carrying salt, blood, and voices. Men, low and urgent. Then Iris, clear enough to make Calder go rigid.
No, it hurts them.
A man's voice answered her.
Pain is instruction.
Ortega caught Calder by the arm. This time he did not pull free. They moved fast, but not blind. The lower tunnel bent left and opened through a crack in the cliff. Wind carried salt and the crash of waves. Below, moonlight opened the world in layers. Cliff, ledge, the split black pillar, white surf. Far down and left, a small figure moved along the lower path. Iris. Behind her came three larger figures. One limped. One carried something long against his shoulder. One moved wrong. Human under strain. A body forced past its limit and paying for every step. Calder bit down on her name before it escaped him. Below, the figures drove Iris toward a fissure in the rock, hurting her.
Sea caves,
Calder said.
Why?
Lena asked. Ezra looked at the fissure, then at the cliff above it.
A place built to answer sound.
All bad.
Matt said.
Go.
Ortega said. They ran.